It's me, Dave Grohl's illegitimate son.
Jane's Addiction, Dave Grohl Trauma, The Idols, Queens of the Stone Age, bringing the bad boy ethos of rock and roll back. Let's talk about it. Hey, it's me, Baxter.
And me, Jonathan.
We're such bad boys. I wear other guitar shop t-shirts too. That's how bad we are. Music Village. If you haven't seen them, check them out. So, you had a big announcement there. We'll get back to that later. But Jane's Addiction had some fun last week.
They did.
Yeah, a little fun. And old Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro kind of got into it for a second. The bass player came over the head, got him in a headlock, maybe threw in some sucker punches, according to somebody else who we'll get into. You know what I say about this?
Thank God.
Thumbs up, because it is so soft out there right now.
That's true.
Well, I mean, I think Rick Beato just had a video, and I haven't watched it yet. But like, why are there no more rock bands?
Yeah.
Were you just talking about that with me earlier? Yes, I can't remember who's. But like, it is like the bands have disappeared, like the bad boy bands have disappeared. It's just all pop stars and artists that are controlled by the labels and like owned by like record companies, and
they're so nice.
It's so nice.
So nice.
Like I remember. Like when I was getting into it, my parents would see like Metallica and Led Zeppelin and be like, "Don't you become like those people." I'm like, "Don't worry,
Baxter,
don't you marry a Yankee? Don't you like that type of music up there? You know, them parts of the world. Them foreigners, like the Brits are big foreigners or something."
Well, I mean, hey, we didn't fight a war.
So what happened with like Jane's Addiction? Like, this is multiple stories, but apparently a lot of wine was consumed by the lead singer. We have met Perry. He's a testament to like Botox, staying in rock and roll, whatever, and whatever type of peripheral things he's doing on the side. I'm just gonna say
activities.
He was cool as hell. What a nice dude, and he was wiry and scrappy and funny, and you just got to see a bit of that on the stage there when he got lit up and got angry for a second. It's kind of. I was talking with Gabriel from Echo Park this morning, and he was like, "That just got him another record deal."
I mean, probably, right? Like you kind of, it's part of what you go to see, right? The train wreck a little bit, I mean, or like that you wanted to feel like it could not a train wreck, but like it could go off the rails.
We've gotten to such a point where everything feels so rehearsed, and like and like I'm not dissing, like I like Taylor Swift actually, but like that's not a rock show. That's like going to like a Broadway show, Cirque du Soleil combination. Everything's choreographed to the T, and it's amazing.
It's a spectacle, amazing. You know.
I obviously love Oasis.
Right.
Those guys, like, I mean, I was trying to get tickets and you didn't, but those guys might break up before they play their first show.
Yeah. Again,
it's a huge chance.
I mean, I'm thinking about like back in the day, Guns N' Roses.
Yes.
When you don't know if Axl's coming out or if he's going to sit down on stage.
And you don't necessarily want that, like,
but here's the thing, right? At the time, I'm sure you'd be pissed. You'd be like, this is not cool. But looking back, I mean, it would be kind of neat to say, man, I was at one of those shows and Axl was just being Axl, you know? I mean, like, that's kind of neat.
I was talking to Matt yesterday at the shop, and that happened to him. I think it was, I forgot, he said it was in Europe. I think it was Guns N' Roses where, like, Axl walked off. And he's like, it sucks. I think it's, this is back in, like, the 80s or 90s or something. And he's like, it sucks. But I was like, it's kind of cool, though, too, isn't it? To be like, it's cool. I saw Coldplay in their first U.S. tour, and like he had to do 2 songs and had to quit because of some sickness or something. I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, cool. Right. I don't really need to see the whole show. I saw 2 songs. That's the ones I wanted to see. I'm out.
It's almost a neat story to be like, oh yeah, I was there at that show when the crazy thing happened.
No, but
as long as no one like dies or anything, we don't want that. But
I mean, necessarily. No, we
like no riots. Don't
trample.
Yeah,
we don't want that, but certain artists can die probably because like it's like they've reached the end of their thing. It's like that's the way to go out, right? You want to go out on stage.
I mean, that would be super cool to go out.
Like someone saying Tito Jackson, he just died at 70 years old, like died on stage, which I thought would have been awesome. But he died just driving in his car somewhere, had a heart attack. But hearts out to the Jackson family and any Jackson 5 fans and Michael Jackson fans. I'm a Jackson 5 diehard.
He really is.
That was my first CD I ever bought for myself. Yeah. Was the Jackson 5 Greatest Hits. I used to like copy Tito Jackson's like moves. When I,
worst things you could copy.
No, so I want to be able to like move on stage. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I'd be in front of the mirror, like doing that stuff and fake playing with my purple glitter Yamaha.
But the Colonel Bruce guy, Colonel Bruce Hampton. He's sort of like the legend of the jamming world. He died on stage like that.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Remember? They thought he was playing, right? He kind of like laid down and
forgot about that. What a good way to go.
Around all the people he loved.
Doing what he loves to do.
Doing what he loved to do.
Now, also having crazy fights. Dave Grohl obviously has been in a little bit of hot water too, just with the parent love child
From one
that we've just revealed.
I grew very fast.
He's like gross.
Very fast.
He's like an alien xenomorph.
I don't feel like I look like Dave Grohl right now, but there was a moment where I guess I did.
Your
and
beard was shorter.
literally, Facebook would say you'd get the reviews for the tags. It would be people with Dave Grohl, and it would ask me if I wanted to tag myself.
At NAMM one year, I put his tag as Dave Grohl. And what happened?
People thought it was the dumbest thing. This one guy was like, "Man, are you guys going out anytime soon? Or like, we just love your music's great." This was a rep for like a company that should know better.
The young woman checking him in was so cute. She's like, "I'm a big fan.
We won't let anyone know." I did have a dude. Well, it happened to me multiple times in Nashville where they would think I was there, and I'm like, "No, I'm." But
I can't remember. Was Ethan Schneiderman's name? Did I give him cream pants?
It wasn't cream pants. It was something funny like that.
Cream boy.
Cream boy, cream puff, or something like that. It was just
cream
really
boy.
funny.
Something like Hunter was like, "Look at my pants" or something. Maybe it was Jake from the.
I think that was Jake.
Zach person. Like,
that was Jake.
He was horrified because Jake from the Zach person trio, I like to call it, takes themselves seriously back then. They've loosened up a little bit now. But yeah. Anyway, so
all sorts of strange
they
names.
need to be living this bad boy life more. You guys stop doing hikes and jogs and biking.
Stop being so healthy.
Sometimes you gotta have the 8 balls and like the night's over and like bad choices and bad decisions. It makes it more fun and people will buy your tickets.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll forever.
What do you think about the Dave Grohl thing? I mean,
I think it's a lot to do about nothing, honestly. But it's it stinks. It stinks for the family. I'm sorry that it happened and it came out public. I sort of assume when you're a rock star, he's one of the most famous rock stars in the world. Infidelities happen on the road sometimes. It's a bummer. I feel for the family. I'm not giving it a pass, but it's none of my business.
That's a good point.
It's none of my business. I think it's, we're talking about it right now, but it's because everyone, it's like, but I think it's not my business.
It used to be like you had these rock stars and you wouldn't even necessarily know about their wife and their family. Now with social media, we know everything about them, right? So it's a bit different.
Kids are grown, so I feel for them, man. Like they've been huge with their dad. Like it stinks. It's a betrayal there, but let's talk about some of my favorites like Jimmy Page and stuff. And Clapton and all those guys. It's like it's a different universe. I mean that's what I said. Being a rock star in the '70s.
Yeah, well, no one even blinks about that stuff when we read about the history. I guess maybe it's a little more removed. This is very current. So
I mean, these are all with consenting adults that are in the, a lot of them in the adult industry and stuff. It's like if you're like following the rock and roll bands, you've just been generally put into the adult industry right there. It's a different.
True.
We've been to lots of rock shows of successful tier artists. I mean, it's as cool as you think it is. Like 100%. Like when I go backstage, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Can I just hang out with you guys for a little longer and see what's happening? It's really cool. Nice guy. But there's dudes and some cool girls and stuff. It's just what it is. So I think it's good. I think there's part of the danger of it. It helps generate excitement, not the thing with your family and stuff, but like, when there's a little fight on stage, or there's a little bit of drama, it makes it rock and roll seem a little bit, like I liked it when my parents were scared of it a bit as a kid. I like the young kids I work with at the Christian school locally that listen to metal and they think it's so dark and evil and scary and hard, and then it's just a pentatonic scale with a lot of distortion on it, played somewhat slowly.
Heck yeah.
But I like that. It's like I remember when I was learning the Metallica and Justice for All, I was like, this stuff is unobtainium. No one else can play this.
It's amazing.
And Kirk Hammett and Lars.
That's it.
And James. We've learned all this together. It's part of our posse. And sorry, it's not true. I lived in the fantasy world for a long time. I like it. I mean, I think you're probably on the same page.
I think so. The Dave one is tricky, but fight on stage. Go ahead, have at it.
Well, his is tricky because he's so light.
Yeah, that's
right. And this shouldn't take away from his affability. Like he made a big mistake here or whatever.
I think the hard part, right, is there's like that meme where he's like, yeah, when we made all that money, he's like, I just went and got a bigger grill. That is his. That's always been his sort of thing.
I know.
His character. So that's what's hard.
But I'm going to say the good things. Like I read all those things about when he's like at a Guitar Center or a CD store, and he sees a kid getting ready to buy stuff, and they want to give Dave free stuff, and he's like, give that kid all the free stuff.
That's cool.
I'm a millionaire.
Yeah, I don't think that cancels that out.
No, I think he's done more for rock and roll in a positive aspect than anything. And I think the bad boys, like when Perry Farrell's doing this, like his wife got on social media and she started defending and explaining it and sort of defending Dave, sort of attacking the bass player a bit. I don't think that's necessary either. I think it's like, it's cool. Let it be cool. You don't have to make this palpable for like the 6:30 news.
There's so many rock bands we love who fought and hated each other for a bit, and I mean, from the Black Crowes to the Eagles to Oasis to everyone, you know. I mean,
which I thought was funny because I think Kate Hudson is like good friends with Dave Grohl's wife, as being like the shoulder cry. I'm like, same thing happened to her. I mean, because I think it's like that's just it is. I hate to excuse it, but it's just you're signing up for that rock and roll world. It's different. But I don't know. I think a little. I like looking at the artist, being like, you don't want your daughter dating that guy, but that guy sure is cool. You know.
I mean, that's sort of There's that.
It's like it's
a good point.
There's the mystique of it, and it's even like you go back. I mean, we forget now. I think of them as wholesome caricatures of like rock and roll, but the Beatles. I mean, they're the Mop Tops. That was people
scandalous.
And when Rolling Stones,
Elvis,
God, those hips, Jesus, Louis, they wouldn't film them from the waist down. If you're young and you don't know that, Elvis Presley, they had filmed them once and they would stop. They wouldn't shoot them from the waist down after they show those hips shaking.
Now it's like, it's so wholesome, Elvis, but it wasn't then, right?
He was like, Jerry Lee Lewis. Well, I mean, he did a little stuff wrong, but I mean,
no.
Oops. I always I don't want to confuse him with Jerry Lewis, the comedian, who did everything perfect. But no, that's part of rock and roll. It's part of. We don't want the completely cultivated, curated, cleaned up. It's like
sanitized.
I like tube amps. I like to play them loud.
Yes. We
like Sir Mix-a-Lot. My kids unfortunately know the words to that song because there's a stuffed animal at their good friend Jordan in Myrtle Beach's house. And when you touch it, his butt starts shaking and says, "We like big butts." So my children all know the words for the first verse of that.
Well, that's
a la Myrtle Beach.
Very wholesome.
No, but it's like you listen to Conway, like it's Kanye West, like he is a dangerous rap artist. Like he's sort of like he's been deemed as crazy now, but when you listen to his peak words and like his stuff, like it's brilliant rap music. It's true. It's like it's brilliant music, just music in general. It's like I heard someone the other day compare. He's like he's the Jimi Hendrix of this generation. I'm like I'm not going to say no to that.
Interesting.
But I was like he's lived too long. Like if he would have died, back like after
legendary.
After his just and not married a Kardashian, but that's I don't know. It's the world we live in today. This reality of television, and can you imagine if like our boring lives had to be like always broadcast? It's just they're actually pretty exciting. We are going to Taylor Guitars like in a couple of days. We just got back from Party Smith. We get to hang out with rock stars backstage sometimes.
There you go.
It is. It's not that bad.
It's not horrible.
Not that bad. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So it's pretty exciting. And we have so many more secrets right behind these cameras in the room over there that we're going to be working on this afternoon for a while. So stay tuned. If you haven't, click like and subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Do it now.
Yes.
We're giving you a moment to do that. We have some crazy videos coming out soon. We're obviously going to some factories, but this is some crazy stuff. Sort of, I think,
better.
Game-changing stuff.
Probably so.
Game-changing. It's a lot about wood, but amazing stuff. And, road to 100,000 too. We're giving away lots of free stuff. Yeah, click like and subscribe again. But find the video. Our live streams, tune in on those every Wednesday.
Got a comment.
Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Make sure we're going to be giving away. I think a GS Mini is coming soon, so stay tuned for that video. We'll do the video on that, and we might even shoot that later today, or maybe tomorrow. We're going to shoot it. Who knows? We're going to shoot it, and it's going to be out there, and you're going to have to love it to get a free Taylor guitar.
It's true.
That's all I got to say.
That's it. That was all.
Now I want to watch Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Go.
Because he says like that's all I got to say about that, doesn't he?
That's right. He does say that.
I feel like watching that, and if I think my kids are ready for that now.
I think so.
I'm trying to get my son ready for Alien.
Oh yeah.
And I just went back and rewatched Civil War last night. It's on Max or HBO, whatever you want to call it nowadays. I enjoyed it a lot more in the second viewing.
Really?
Because I was lukewarm on the first viewing.
Yeah, me too.
And then I enjoyed it on my second viewing. Once I knew what it was, I was like, okay, I'm cool with it. And then I watched it with my wife, and she enjoyed it. So anyway,
it's good to know.
If you haven't seen Alien Romulus yet, great addition to the Alien franchise. Not Alien or Aliens, but it lives right in there behind them. Close, very close. Done.
There you go.
I'm leaving for the day.